Hi there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Vero and today we're setting up for the month of February. This year I've chosen a dragon theme because the Lunar New Year is coming up on the 10th of February and we're going into the year of the dragon. But before we jump into that, let's have a quick flip through of my spreads from January, a fun leafy green theme that I hope you enjoyed. If you've been following me for a while, you'll know that I've become a huge fan of Crayola Super Tips again in the last 5 months. And now look, we're not about to stray away from that, but I will be bringing in some other brand of markers and brush pens today because they have been feeling just a little bit neglected on my shelf. I debated long and hard on how to illustrate my theme this month. I was very keen to use a tattoo style with single lines, short and sharp, nice and fast and easy, red dragon, black lilies, and while I'm almost 100% sure that would have been epic, I decided to colour everything in because I was feeling colourful. I originally wanted to do a yellow underbelly and red scales. If you're familiar with Chinese culture, you'll know that red and gold are traditional colours. Red symbolises happiness, good fortune, success, and gold symbolises richness and nobility. They are often seen together during special occasions such as the Chinese New Year, but the dragon with the yellow underbelly and the red scales was giving a little bit too much Jake Long, holla if you know that reference, and not really what I was aiming for. So I scrapped the yellow underbelly and I'll show you what I chose instead in just a moment. I started off by outlining my dragon with a red pen. It was looking great until I started colouring it in. The finer details disappeared. So I chose to go over the red outline with a black pen. A quick note, if you're using a gel pen and then want to trace over the gel pen with a different color, stick with another gel pen instead of going with a fine liner because the gel consistency messes with the fine liners and it's not a fun time. As you know, my cover page is always the toughest because I haven't figured out my exact plan and I'm still playing around with things until I've decided exactly what it's going to look like. Unfortunately, with this level of detail, I didn't want to retrace it too many times on a separate piece of paper to figure it out, but I also didn't want to mess it up, so this does translate to slightly weird outcomes and techniques, especially on the cover page. I'm using Tombows dual brush pens for the colouring in this month. It's because of their finer tips. With Crayolas, or at least my Crayolas, you can't really achieve that very pointy edge like you can with a Tombow, simply because they're just a little bit more round, and I do need that level of detail today because I want to stay somewhat within the lines, although you'll see that sometimes I'm just like, whoop, my hand goes a little bit crazy. With my base color down, I can now add some shading and tones. I did this well for the cover page, but then subsequently forgot about it until the very end of the video, so I think some of the pages I haven't shaded the dragon in properly. That's fine. I did it afterwards and probably off camera. But anyway, next up we have the lilies. I've decided to do them in yellow since I scrapped my yellow underbelly. I'm using the Tombows yellow, it's the number 025, to fill in the base color of all of my lilies. One disappointing thing with my florals is that I never outline them in black first, which means they're never super detailed even when adding the shading in. I think I do this because I'm not the best at florals, and if I added more detail they wouldn't look like lilies anymore, so you know. I'm using Pentel brush sign pens for the shading today, and I must never have used them in illustrations previously because I only just found out that they do not layer well. My page did start pilling, which is unfortunate, so I did go for more of a light hand after this with the Pentels, but at least the colors look really nice, but I definitely won't be layering the pens ever again. You might be wondering why I drew a random box next to the dragon, and it's because I wanted to put the Chinese character for dragon in it. Why? I don't know. I hope I got my character right, let me know. Otherwise that would be a bit embarrassing. The black ink is from Archer and Olive from their Halloween box, which was really fun, and it also came with a glass dip pen, which is my absolute favorite thing. I've never had one of these before, so it's really fun to play around with it. The ink has a slight shimmer to it, which I hope you can see. I'm also writing out February in capital letters. My mum said I was ruining the beautiful illustration by doing letters like this, and I mean I can kind of see where she's coming from, but I also think it's nice to simplify the writing when the decor is so intense, especially since I'm adding lilies to the left page. I am quite a fan of loose florals though, and this kind of corresponds to what I said earlier when I said I don't like doing details because otherwise they don't really look like flowers. Here with loose florals, you know what flower I'm trying to illustrate, and I don't have to worry about all the tiny minute details to make it look like the real thing. So loose florals are just fun that way. For the brown center of the flower, I'm using an Archer & Olive calligraph pen. Don't ask me which collection it's from. I thought it would be a good idea to mix all of my pens together, and there are a lot of browns and some of them are quite similar. So now I can't remember which color is from which collection, so it's just a bit of a mess. The green stem though is with a Tombow and it's in the colour 312. Definitely my favourite green. For my underbelly, I must have forgotten to hit record, or I've lost the footage, or I don't know. But I didn't film it, or like if I did, I don't know where it is. But this is the shimmer and it's stunning. I'll tell you more about it later because I do film the shimmer on a different page at some point, so we will come back to this. The last step for my cover page is to cut around the dragon so it's a nice Dutch door. I really dig these little cutout ideas. I think they're so much fun and it adds quite a bit of dimension to your bullet journal, even though it's quite simple to execute. I mean the cutting part of the page, not the illustrations. Similarly to my December theme, I'll be using waterfall tabs again this month, and because I'm at the cutting stage, I figured I would also cut the rest of the tabs now. If you're keeping up with a bit of my personal life, you'll know that not that this is a really big deal, but you'll know that I randomly lost my ruler a few months back. Well, I did find it. It was propped up against the wall in my bedroom. It must have fallen down when I was using it, and because it's semi-transparent, it was blending into the wall, so I couldn't find it for the longest time, but I'm really glad I found it again because it truly is the best ruler, and I wish I was getting sponsored to say that. Muji Australia, hit me up. But also, why did you close the Canberra store? Anyway, semantics. I think if you're copying this theme, I actually wouldn't recommend the waterfall tabs for it. I had a concept in my mind and I don't think it turned out as nice as I was hoping. I think there's maybe too much going on, but regardless, the cover page is pretty smashing if I do say so myself. Now onto my monthly log. Because of the way the page is cut out, it only made sense to replicate the same dragon but flipped onto this page. If you're looking for a way to work your brain muscles, by the way, try copying an image but flipping it. It really gets your brain working, and it was quite difficult, but I think I managed it alright. Learning from the cover page, I went straight in with my black fine liner. This one is an Artline 0.3 drawing system pen. It is somehow both water-based and water-resistant. Someone tell me how that works. The point though is that when I go over with my Tombow or any paints, it won't smudge, which is great. Speaking of colouring things in, Tombows blend so much nicer than my Crayola Super Tips. That being said, if you do not have the budget for Tombow, Crayola is very worth it. I think you can almost get like 10 Crayolas for the price of a single Tombow. Don't quote me on that though. I finally filmed myself painting the underbelly as well. I'm using the shimmery pink ink from Ferris Wheel Press. The colour is called Radiant Rosewing. Unfortunately, I'm still not showing the bottle. I think I must keep forgetting to film it, but it'll come. I know it's in the video at some point. I found it extremely therapeutic to use a paintbrush again. I think I haven't painted for the sake of painting in a very long time, and brushed paper is really something I love. So definitely something I'll be doing more of, but probably off camera. Anyway, same drill as previously. I'm using yellows to create my lilies in the background. For the calendar part of the monthly log, I've decided to stick in some paper. I was originally thinking this pink pastel colour from Archer & Olive, but ultimately I went for the shimmery cream colour from this notepad. It's another notepad from Archer & Olive. It came in their last subscription box in December. Definitely one of my favourite ones to date. I will be unboxing it in a short at some point. I just haven't gotten around to it. It is sold out though, so I don't actually know if it's worth showing it anymore. Let me know though if you're curious. The calendar is 4x6 squares for each individual day, which is a massive improvement from my January monthly log, where it was only 3x6, which did feel a bit cramped. 3x6, however, does fit on a single page, whereas 4x6 does not. You know, things to think about. The shimmery cream paper is awesome, by the way. I know I don't show the back of the paper, but the shimmer is only on one side, which I really don't mind because I'm sticking it into a journal, so I would feel like a bit sad if the back was, you know, getting wasted. The paper in this notepad is thinner than we usually see in Archer & Olive notepads, but it's again not something that I mind. I think it's actually quite helpful in this instance. To stick it down, I'm using my glue tape roller, which if you watched my reading journal, you'll know that this is like my new favorite toy on my desk. They're so much fun to use. I feel like a little kid when I use it, and it's just like so cathartic. With my fine liner, I trace out the days of the calendar and number the boxes as well. At this point I realized that I didn't quite account for the weekday initials, so I tried punching out a circle, but it was too big and I don't have a smaller one, so you know, that's not going to work out. But then I realized that I have stamps. These letter stamps are from Archer and Olive, who would have guessed, and they are very cute. I use my no issue stamp pad, again a product that I rave about every other video, and here's the final look with the shimmer paper. Another small detail is how this flower aligns with the previous page's one, and the last touch I added off camera to this page was writing the word Feb. Let's now move on to my habit tracker. To hold the pages down, I'm using a notebook clamp, and I'm using the lid of my wooden stamp box under the journal to hold the pages up. This is 1000% for the sake of filming, because if it's not elevated, it looks just a little bit funny. I'm now starting to wear out from drawing and colouring in dragons, even though I've only done 2. So for the next few spreads, I've come up with a brilliant solution. It's to draw only parts of the dragon on the page, and the rest is up to your imagination. It's specifically the head that is causing me some issues because I don't have the patience right now to do them properly, so you know, there's that. Here's a close-up of some Tombows that I'm using, by the way. And here we finally spot the elusive Ferris wheel press ink. How cute is this bottle? I've recently joined their partnership or collaboration group, and I was gifted this ink and a second one. I am supposed to be receiving a discount code to share with you all, but I have yet to receive it, so I will keep you posted. I've chosen a vertical habit tracker this month, going back to basics since last month I kind of went overboard with a round habit tracker that was super annoying to fill out, even though it looked really, really cool. I number the days all the way to 29, and yes, this year is a leap year, which means we have 366 days instead of 365. Is anyone in my audience born on the 29th of February? Let me know. Leap years must be so special for you, or maybe they're not. Let me know what your experience is. I also accompany the numbers with the days of the week, and I also highlight the weekends. I find that this is super helpful and saves time when I am tracking my habits. For the habits, I will put a small cross when I have done the habit and a dash when I haven't. I've previously just left it blank when I haven't done it, but I found that this could be sometimes confusing to fill out when you have tons of blank spaces. For example, imagine if you didn't do a single habit on your list on one day, and then you had to skip the row, and then you forget to skip the row, and then it's all out of whack. I write habits at the top of my page and move on to my to-do list. Because the to-do list is on the same spread as my habit page, I'm not drawing an additional dragon. Rather, I'm illustrating a lily. For this lily, I've changed the base yellow. It's the yellow from the Pentel brush sign pens, and sadly, it's drying out. I then use the Tombow yellow as my shading with the orange Pentel and no ochre color. Don't ask me why I strayed from my original yellow, I have no idea. This to-do list is more for my personal life and goals, and the next page, however, is for my VeroBujo tasks and my monthly review. I know I mentioned earlier that drawing dragons was getting tiring, but for some reason I have 2 of them on this page, although I only have parts of them, so you know the drill. I start by outlining the dragons in black and then colouring them in red. I then move on to my flowers. I'm still using the dried up yellow Pentel. And then, as I was rifling through my brush pens, I found this one from Archer and Olive. The colour is called lime green, but it is an exact match for the yellow from Pentel. I illustrate my flowers, and my favorite flowers to illustrate are actually the little tiny ones that are germinating, so they're still tiny and small. I think they add character to my spread and fill out some of the white spaces, and they require minimal effort, which I know for some people is an important factor. Next, I write monthly review, VeroBujo, and content, because yes, I have been enjoying my content calendar from January. I've added a few tweaks this month. I've added 2 columns, D and P, for draft and posted. I would like to do a video on how I edit photos, etc. It's in the pipeline. I think it'll be a video for March, but the idea is that I bulk draft all of my posts for Instagram, and then all I have to do is hit post on the day I need to post it. This is super important during the week because my schedule is always packed and I'm usually super tired when I need to post things and want to sleep, so this process really helps me out and be more efficient. For my monthly review, I have the same categories as always. I'll say that the music portion is dying out because I'm not listening to much music. I'm more of an audiobook girly. For my next spread, I think I preferred my pencil sketches to the final product. Oh well. I think this one would have been good with just the black and red pens outlining things. Alas, that's not what I did. I think my biggest issue with this one is the lack of red on the page. There are too many yellow lilies. I think I would have needed more dragon bits on the page, but oh well. It doesn't look too bad. I write daily routine and grab my ruler. I trace a line halfway across the next page and write the word week. I actually don't know what week it'll be when I start in February, so I'm leaving that blank for the moment. This is the last page of the setup and it's a continuation of my weekly spreads, but this time we're going out with a bang. I've drawn a whole dragon again, only cutting off a very small portion. I think that this is my favorite dragon as opposed to the cover page one because this one has more folds and I really like it. A word to the wise about my weekly spread, I forgot to account for the fact that there are 2 columns from the right for the cascading tabs. So when I put the washi tape down later, it doesn't look exactly right. A touch of lilies here and a touch of lilies there, a roll of washi tape on this page, and voila, we are done. And now time for the final flip through. What did you think about this theme? Let me know down in the comments. I think that maybe it's a little bit too much going on, but I also really like it. Let me know. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you are looking for some more New Year inspiration, Chinese New Year inspiration, Lunar New Year inspiration, you can check out my February 2022 video where I did kind of like a Mulan vibe, more of the Year of the Tiger because I'm from the Year of the Tiger. But if that's something that you're looking for, definitely go check it out.